Hello and welcome to another vaguely exciting edition of Top Hat Chat with myself, Street, and the Top Hat Gaming Man.
Yeah, so as it's known in France as TopHatStreet. Yes, that's how they pronounce it.
What?
TopHatStreet.
Top Hat shit.
No, I never said that. I said shit.
I don't think I'll be referring to you as that ever.
Okay, so what are we talking about today?
Emulation!
Oh yes, everyone loves emulation
Yeah.
except for the people who are obviously critical of it.
Yeah, there are a few.
Yes.
Personally, I love emulation. I think it's great.
I love emulation too.
And that's coming from a man with millions and millions of legitimate titles
Yes.
directly behind my head.
Yes.
Why on earth would you say you like emulation?
I love emulation because it basically allows us to play all of these fantastic games for free. And more importantly, it's a lot more convenient these days than actually playing on original consoles a lot of the time because you've got HDMIs and all stuff like that. And it's just quicker. Like a lot of the time now, like when we streamed the other night, instead of using the actual cartridges, we found it a lot quicker just to emulate the games and play them that way. Faster.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
A lot less faffing around.
yeah, and it was. I mean, your legs hurt afterwards because you didn't move for like 4.5 hours.
Yes, that's true.
You moaned about it for like 20 minutes before I went home. So yeah, not good for your
Discuss
legs.
pros and cons.
Emulation is bad for your legs.
It is.
That's an official. Maybe we should call the video that.
Well, emulation is bad for your legs.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know if it'll get views. I don't know if it'll be great for search engine optimization.
That's right. We don't get any views anyway.
That's true.
But yeah, emulation. So we used the Wii.
It
to
is.
emulate.
The Wii is so good for emulation.
Yeah, I am desperate for one. After using it and using the homebrew channel and everything else the other night, I'm gonna go and buy one because I never had. I had one for a little while, but I didn't really get on with it very well. And now I can find a reason to own a Wii.
Yeah, and I'm going to say something really bold here. I think the Wii is probably the cheapest way to game and to play a lot of content on the planet. There's no cheaper way to game than owning a Wii.
I would tend to agree with you, unless it's less time intensive as well. I mean, to jailbreak a Wii and then upload a load of stuff, it takes minimal amounts of time.
Yes, it's ridiculous. It's what you could have paid for a Wii, £15, something like that. That's how much they cost around.
Yeah. I mean,
£10,
I think even CX are trying to only squeeze £22 out of somebody.
And they probably got millions of them in the back room.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Yeah, you would.
So Wii's, they're so cheap and they run games so well.
Yeah. I mean, I've got no. I mean, you can emulate on phones really well now. I don't know whether you know this because I know you don't play around with stuff like that too much, but you can emulate almost anything on a phone.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
It's incredible. Like up to 64. Like I've seen 64 games run seamlessly on phones, which is incrable. Let's be completely honest.
The thing was so great about the Wii though, straight on the telly though, straight away.
Oh yeah,
You know what
it's
I mean? So
amazing. I'm not saying
simple and it's cheap. Like phones are hundreds of pounds. Phones are really expensive, aren't they?
But everybody has one.
That's true.
So if you're going to have one anyway, it's just an extra add-on, isn't it? And what I'm saying, like, yes, the Wii's the best thing, but emulation is on pretty much anything. That's it. You can get it on phones. You bought something very recently.
Which one are we talking about? The Raspberry Pi or the Ouya? Because I've bought both of those things.
You bought a Raspberry Pi, and that was pretty good. It couldn't find any fault with it, other than the fact that I thought the controller was a bit meh.
Yeah, that's my fault for having a crap controller.
Yeah, you could have just got a better one. It would have been fine. But you bought an Ouya, which is what I'm really excited about to talk about really briefly. It's actually plugged in and running something at the moment.
It is indeed.
And apparently they're great emulation stations as well.
From what I've heard, yes. I've not got around to doing that yet,
Yeah.
but I've not been able to put my Ouya down. There's so much content on the bloody thing.
And the controller's amazing.
It's lovely.
Yeah. That's another thing about the Wii, actually, really quickly, is that your controller options are massive. You've got so many options because you've got the classic controller.
I think there's an NES controller and a Super Nintendo controller as well.
Yes.
So.
You can use the GameCube controller. In fact, you have to for certain points when you're actually doing the jailbreak, I think. But yeah, you've got the classic GameCube controller. You also have a Wavebird, which is wireless.
I don't know actually. From what I remember, I'm not quite sure if you can use GameCube controllers on the what's it called, the homebrew channel. From what I'm not sure if you can do that.
Can you not do that?
I don't know. Someone might know in the comment section, but I've always used the classic controller.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a case of.
I know with the GameCube controller, you have to use it for a certain point of when you're actually jailbreaking it.
Do you? I don't remember. It was so long ago I've jailbreaked it now that I can't even remember.
There's a certain aspect of it we have to. Anyway, doesn't really matter. But the controller options are huge, and they're amazing. I mean, it's also relatively wireless because you don't have to be next to the console to do so. It's not like when you emulate on the Super Nintendo Mini or the NES Mini where you have to be.
It's just crazy the amount of stuff that you can do with the Wii
is.
in general, considering it's so cheap.
Yeah.
There's so many of them, and they're so cheap, and you can emulate like so many retro systems. And there's great applications available in order to do so. And then on top of that as well, it naturally plays GameCube games, and on top of that as well, you can hack it to play DVDs too.
Yeah,
so it's the cheapest way of getting a DVD player as well, which is also crazy.
It's incredible.
And also, I've not done it yet, you can also hack it to download all the Virtual Console games, and you can download just Wii games straight onto it, and GameCube games as well. So it's an outrageous device.
I mean, talking about how far
all the things it does,
the emulation has come on the Wii. You said you can use it to actually steal Wii games.
Yes,
essentially.
Yeah.
Do you think there should be a cut-off point for what we are allowed to essentially download ROMs for?
Well, we're not allowed to download them for anything, technically.
No, but I mean, like, from a gaming perspective, when it's going to start harming games.
Oh, you're talking about from an ethical perspective?
Yeah, like, for example, if there was a way of emulating Xbox One games now, would that be ethically okay, bearing in mind that the games are still for sale?
I don't think so. I don't think that is necessarily ethical. I think it should only. I think it's ethical if. I think a game is. I'm trying to think of something good to compare it to, but basically, in its launch window, it's a bit like if I make a YouTube video. It's going to make all the money at launch, so I'll make all the money in the first few days. A game's similar. It'll make all the money in the first 6 months. Then after that, it's pretty worthless in all technicalities.
Yeah, I can see your point.
Because it's not new anymore. It's old tat. It's become old tat, and it shouldn't have any value because it's old. It's dated.
I can see your point. I mean,
you shouldn't be selling old tat again.
I think 6 months is probably pushing it a little bit.
Well, you think that a little bit longer? It should have a longer lifespan.
Yeah, I think it should be longer. But I think that if there was a way of getting PS3 titles now, I don't think there should be a problem with that. Except for the fact, I mean, you can talk about re-releases again and ports.
But if no one's going to buy it, that's the problem. Like, you can re-release all these old games, but no one's going to buy them except for a select few. So you might as well emulate them instead. So what's the point?
Yeah. So would you say that, for example, Wii U games would be okay to emulate now?
Well, apparently not, because they're re-releasing them on the Switch because Nintendo are lazy.
Yeah. See, this is the problem. This is where kind of ethically I'm having issues, and I can't find a cut-off point. I mean, Donkey Kong is being re-released soon. So, if we could emulate it, should we?
That's a tricky one, isn't it? That's quite a tricky question. I don't think it's right to be re-releasing it at full price though. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
Because it's old tat by this point. Yeah. It's old tat.
I agree. But rather than specifically attack the Switch, I want to try and find some kind of compromise.
I don't think there is a compromise.
Do you not think so?
I don't think so. You're either one way or the other.
Do you think it's illegal for a reason because... Do you think it's specifically illegal because there is no way of cutting it off?
Yes, I suppose that's the thing. I don't think people should necessarily worry about in life what's legal or illegal. They should just worry about moral implications at the end of the day.
Yeah, but I'm saying, do you think that's why it's a problem? If there was a cut-off point where they said, well, actually, anything that is over 2 years... You shouldn't be able to sell anyway. Do you think that's why emulation's illegal in general?
No, I think most laws are made to keep corporations on top. Things like copyright there to protect corporations' interests.
So, yeah, maybe. But that's essentially what I was saying, if you know what I mean. I don't think you're completely grasping what I'm trying to say, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm not explaining it very well. But do you think that the law is there specifically to protect people so they can re-release stuff and resell it on and stuff like that? If there was a specific cut-off, do you think it would just be fine? If they could find a place to cut it off and say, well, actually, you shouldn't be making money.
There is a cut-off, actually. There is a cut-off.
Is there?
It's 100 years, I think. But it's not it's because the copyright laws were invented before gaming. So they applied to things well previously. So there is a 100-year cut-off, and the copyright expires. I think it's 100 years, could be less than that.
So in 2118, I'll be allowed to download Call of Duty?
Yes, but someone will probably re-copyright it by that point. But there is an expiry date on copyright.
Okay, fair enough. So I suppose that emulation is good. The
So
Wii is the best for
Yeah,
emulation.
I think this is what it's down to. They need to re-update copyright laws for gaming.
Yeah, maybe.
Because the current copyright laws do not suit that genre of entertainment.
Okay.
I think that's a good conclusion.
I think so.
Drawing it.
Yeah. I think we can vaguely agree on that, I think. Okay. So have you got a question to ask the people?
Not really, because I know what they're going to say. They're just going to be like, yes, emulation all the way, or they're just going to be like, no, you shouldn't do that, no, I'm going to tell on you. And that's it, like those sort of people.
Yeah, I suppose so.
So yes, ladies and gentlemen, let us know in the comment section what you think of emulation. Should it be legalised, man? Let us know. Did you like that?
I did.
Legalise it. Cheerio.